Hey everyone, and welcome to another stitch tutorial. So today I'm going to show you how to crochet this kind of knit-alike looking stitch. I believe it's been called the waistcoat stitch. I have heard it called the faux knit stitch. I learned it as the shallow single crochet stitch, so that's what we're going to call it. I do have a couple of patterns that mimic this style that I will link down in the description box. But for this tutorial, I'm just going to show you the basics of how to do it so that you can kind of play around and see if it's something that you would want to use in your next design. So here we go. Alright, so this stitch is really simple. I would say the most challenging part about it is the row 1. So you can create however many stitches you want. There is no multiple required. So let's start off, let's just do 12. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. In the second chain from the hook, we're gonna single crochet, just like normal. We're just gonna single crochet in each stitch all the way across. And once we get done with this, that's when I'm going to zoom you in and show you how to make that really fun faux knitting look. So when you get to the end, you're going to chain 1. And I'm going to zoom you in. And I'm going to try to move my light just a little bit closer and hopefully you'll be able to see. Maybe zoom you in just a little bit more. Okay. So as you can see, you've got kind of this loop going across, and then right underneath that loop is like a little V right there. Do you see that? That is where we're going to place our stitch. Now when I said that the hardest row was this foundation row, that's the one I'm talking about. So right there in that spot, you're going to insert your hook, yarn over, draw up a loop, and work your single crochet. So when I do that, you see how the V's are kind of setting inside each other? That's exactly what we want. And right there, you see the little bar going across and look kind of like the two little legs sticking out. You're going to insert your hook right there, kind of guide it through. You might have to do it a couple of times to make sure you get it into the right spot. And so we did it again, right there into that next space, right underneath that little hump. It's kind of where we want it. And like I said, the foundation row is the hardest row to do because after this it gets really easy. Right there underneath the hump, and it's important you put your finger kind of behind there because that will help get it in the spot, and you can kind of guide the hook through. Go into the next spot, kind of make sure your finger's positioned, pull things through. And if you do have a chunkier weight yarn or something like that, obviously the stitches are all going to be bigger, and it's going to be a little easier to kind of maneuver things where you want them. So that's something to think about too. But like I said, row 1 is the hardest with this stitch because the stitches aren't open, maybe would be the best way to describe it. You got to kind of create the stitch, if you will. So get this row finished, and then there's that one right there. Oops, that one didn't want to work. Right there, and then all right, so now we chain 1 and we turn the work. And we just kind of leave that chain 1 there, And so now it's a little easier to see because we've created these stitches. So you see the little hump going across in the 2 V's. You're just going to go right there and make the next one. There's a little hump going over the 2 V's right there into that spot. So you kind of see it now. There's the hump going over the 2 V's. There's the next one. And so every row after row 1 is a lot easier. You might have a couple ones here and there that want to give you a little bit of trouble, but for the most part, they're pretty simple. Just kind of shove it in there. And I will say that this particular stitch, because it is more dense, it does use up a little bit more yarn than normal. And just go into the regular space on the end. So do you see I had a spot right there that got kind of wonky, and right there got kind of wonky, but it's really simple. After that row 1, you just go right there. That chain 1 counts as a single crochet. And just continue across in every single stitch. And it's really that simple. That one's kind of stubborn. So that would be how you do the single crochet, or this shallow single crochet. So just kind of a really simple little stitch that kind of looks like knitting, but it's not. And again, after you get done with that row 1, it gets a lot easier, and you can see the thickness, right? There's a little bit of stretch there, but not a ton, which is great if you wanted to make like a sweater or something, or a really cozy baby blanket, because it's not super holey. It's kind of a really closed stitch, so really great for that. Really simple. You don't need to keep a multiple. You can chain whatever you want, just single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and you are well on your way. So I hope you like this really simple quick stitch tutorial. I hope it kind of fuels your creative juices and gives you ideas for awesome projects to make in the future. And again, I'll link a couple of patterns using this variation of a stitch down below. And be sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.